Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Two Dads, One Car, where we talk about modern fatherhood. My friends, I have a special guest coming into the car, and it's someone I've not met before. We've had a chat on the phone 2 weeks ago. He came highly recommended, referred by a friend of mine, my friend's husband actually. I love how this works. It's kind of like a blind date, but we had a great conversation on the phone. I'm excited to bring him into this car. His name is Claus. He is a father of 3 girls, not just 1, 2, but 3 girls, so full-on girl dad mode. We're gonna learn about his history, his background, parenting, everything in between. So I love these kind of conversations. We do these from time to time, and so I'm excited to meet Thomas for the very first time in this car and in person. And so with that, stay tuned. I'll be picking him up very shortly. Well, let's jump in, Thomas. I did a brief introduction to you earlier on, but why don't you just walk us through your fatherhood profile, like number of kids, rough ages, and then we'll kick it off in there.
Yeah, so I have 3 daughters, ranging, my oldest, Chloe, is 9 years old, my middle daughter, Audrey, is 6, and my youngest daughter, Grace, is 3.
Wow.
So,
you're full on, you know, the girl dad tattoo.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yes, yeah. It's been a lot of fun. And fun ages right now, too.
Please.
So Chloe, being 9, is very independent, very helpful, nurturing, ready to jump in and help when she's not hungry and tired. So not after school, not right after school, but after dinner, after showering, she's in a great space. So very helpful.
Look, I just picked you up right after school too. So
yes, no, we're good. Our neighbors come over every day, and or they're always outside playing together every day, and they look forward to seeing each other. And one set of kids is knocking on the door by like 3:15. So it's been fun. I grew up in a neighborhood with lots of kids. I had probably about 8 to 10 friends on my block, and we played football, hockey every day. So I grew up similarly. As soon as I got home from school, drop off the backpack, have a snack, and then outside.
What a joy.
So, and Audrey, the middle child,
please,
she's also starting to build those relationships now at the age of 6. She always sees Chloe. Everybody wants to play with the bigger sister, the older sister. But Audrey's now coming into her own. I see that she's starting to develop those friendships, and it's good to see. So they all played together.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive into this. What would you say is an unspoken truth about fatherhood? Something that's not shared as widely that, you know, could be, you know, deserves some attention spotlight in your perspective, right?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I have some coworkers who are just a couple years younger than me. And by a couple, I mean like 10 years, 5 years younger than me, that are just starting to become fathers for the first time. And I think for me, the unspoken truth about fatherhood is for those first 6 to 10 months of the baby's life, it's hard for fathers to jump in and help. I think a lot of the support is with the mom. You need to help support the partner, your partner, the mom, by taking the baby out early in the morning to give her a couple extra hours sleep. Coming home from work as early as you can to help relieve her and relieve that pressure so that she can shower and she can have a break. In the middle of the night, getting up and changing that diaper after she's done feeding so she can get back to sleep sooner. I think that was kind of like the aha moment for me, is supporting my wife and supporting her through this journey in the first 12 months so that I can give her as much rest as she needs, instead of trying to jump in and help out with the baby. Like the baby thing, like it's all mom for the first 12 months.
How did you learn that? Was that after trial and error with Chloe? You're like, oh, wait a second.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I'm a morning person, so I think the thing that worked out best for me is like I'm up at 5:30 every day. Yeah. And Chloe was a fairly easy baby, and she would also get up around 4:35 for that first feed. And I thought, well, I'm awake. Why don't I just take her with me, put her in the stroller, she just finished eating, diapers changed, and go for a morning walk, like in the summertime, for example, and get her out, go for coffee, or go see my dad. My dad's up early, go for coffee, take them for coffee. And it just started working. Karen got that extra 2 hours of sleep where the baby wasn't next to her. She didn't have to worry about the baby crying or waking her up. And we started to notice that extra 2 hours, 2.5 hours break was magical for Karen. So she felt so much better after those 2 hours. So that's just a trend that we kept going with the other 2 children as well. So.
Wow. Has there ever been a situation where you had to have 3 kids at 5 in the morning?
No. No. They're pretty good sleepers. No. But I did take all 3 girls to see my dad regularly and go for a morning walk. just to get that break. And my dad loves seeing the grandkids too. So my dad goes to Tim Hortons every Sunday morning. That's his thing. He meets his friends there. So to bring the granddaughters there, he's happy.
Something, and it must be just giving so much pride, right? And
yes.
I'm sure his friends are there too, and they see
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they, it's great. I'm trying to think of a time where I had all 3 kids together, and I don't think so. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy taking all 3 kids out together, like going to Costco, for example, or just running errands with them. It is enjoyable sometimes. It can be chaotic, obviously, but there's fun in it as well. Like to see their eyes when we go to like the book section of Costco, or to see their favorite treats on the shelf. Like they get excited for it.
I'm so impressed, Thomas. Like I have a hard enough time bringing my one daughter to Costco. You have 3. This is amazing.
They all fit into the cart nicely. I put the 2 little ones in the seat rack up top.
Yeah.
And then my biggest sits in the big part of the groceries until the cart gets too full. Then she has to get out and walk. But
oh my god.
But she is at the stage now where she despises Costco. Like there's no going to Costco for Chloe anymore. If I say that word around her, she'd be like, "I'll stay home." I'm like, "Okay, fair." But the other 2 still enjoy it. So.
I love it. I mean, this is fascinating. One of the things that we talked about before recording is that part of your work involves a lot of travel, and something I'm struggling with, right? Because part of my work involves traveling, every few months, actually even more often, depending on what's going on with other projects, other nonprofits. You're traveling at least once or twice a week, and you're an executive at a public traded company. Like a lot of our listeners some maybe in a similar situation. How do you navigate travel, family, 3 kids, Costco runs, 5 in the morning?
Yes, yeah. It's all about the logistics. I think it's all about setting up your partner for success before you go. So some things that I like to do is pre-make a dinner or 2 and put it in the fridge so that that's taken care of. Anything I can help out with lunch, laundry. If I can get the laundry done and put away so that's not on the floor or not in a pile, and it's in the drawers ready to go for the kids, it makes it a lot easier for Karen as she's navigating the morning rushes and getting kids together. So we have the support of my in-laws, and they're a big help. I'm so thankful for them and their support. So when I'm away, they will, if Karen has a meeting and she can't pick up the kids, they will jump in and help. Or my mother-in-law often will make food for the kids. They'll make dinner. So that's been very helpful as well. And since Karen switched roles now and she has her own practice at home and she works from home, it gives her that flexibility to help out with pickups and drop-offs. I'd have to say just logistics. Diarize it, put it in your calendar, socialize it with the entire family, letting them know when you're going to be away, how long you're away for, and getting like laundry and those chores out of the way. Even little things like cleaning up the house, making sure the dishes are done, laundry's put away, and maybe a meal or 2 cooked in the fridge to help them just heat up and go. Wow. It's been super helpful for us. And it took years. Like even before I took this role, I had light travel in my previous role. I had traveled internationally once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So we kind of understood a little bit what that looks like. But yeah, here in this role and with the 3 kids and then Karen leaving her previous role to work from home to start her own firm has all made things a lot easier for us.
Wow. Like what were the more stressful periods, would you say, in the fatherhood journey? Was it like the one when the second daughter came into play, the third daughter? Was it if you were to reflect back, or was it like
I think we used to think the second, because Audrey was definitely challenging as a baby, very colicky, not a great sleeper. But then when we had number 3, we were outnumbered, right? So I think that also became very stressful. So it became 2 to 1. So I'd take the 2 biggest ones, and Karen would be with the third one. And then also trying to navigate work. Karen went back to work fairly early with all 3 girls. When she was at Salesforce, she went back after 6 months after having Grace.
Wow.
So she was looking forward to getting back to work, and because she could work from home most days and have that work-life balance, she thought it would be great to go back early and also be there for Grace. But I think the most stressful part would be when I'm traveling and she had to be in the office 5 days a week in her previous role.
Yes.
That was stressful, because then her parents would step in and help out a little bit more, and I think that put a lot of pressure on everybody. So
yeah, I mean, it sounds like it requires a lot of hyper organization, hyper scheduling, and
yes.
like the fact that you had meals prepared in the fridge. This is amazing.
Yes, I try. I love cooking, and my dad cooked a lot growing up, so I just naturally gravitated towards it. So yeah.
Speaking of your parents, one thing I did want to touch upon is really on heritage and culture and identity and that aspect of it. And so I know part of your identity, I think you're part German, part Aboriginal.
Yes,
and then
correct.
Karen, a friend of mine, she's Chinese Canadian, and identity, how that flows. Maybe walk me through that. Like, how do you talk about that in your family in this today's society, which I think is even more and more common. But I actually have never talked about this with a guest before, and so
Yeah.
I would love to jump into this with you.
Yeah,
actually.
sure. So, I mean, growing up, maybe I'll start from the beginning if
Please,
you don't
yes,
mind and kind of work
absolutely.
my way through. But growing up, I was definitely struggled with my identity, like being half German and half Indigenous. I found that being in the public school system, I never grew up in a reserve. My mom didn't grow up in a reserve, but we frequented the reserve visiting family and relatives, etc. But I always found that in school, I never really fit in with the Western culture either because I was identified as Indigenous. I guess probably during the application process, my mom indicated that I was Indigenous. So I got signed up for all these Indigenous leadership programs, sports programs, and I think it was kind of for maybe identified as at-risk youth. And they would put you into these programs so that you could stay out of trouble. And I was like, why am I being targeted for this? I don't want to be this. I don't want to identify as this. I struggled with that. And then going over to the reserve, when I would visit friends and family, I also was never seen as Indigenous. I was seen as Caucasian, like white boy or et cetera. So I struggled with identity back then. It wasn't until I started dating Karen and where she really helped me embrace my cultural difference and to not be ashamed of it. And I became Indigenous status member later in life, around 34, 35. And I think when I got that status card, I did start to identify with it more and really appreciate it. And I'm very thankful for it now growing up. And now I see my daughters, who are a quarter Indigenous, quarter German, and half Chinese. They really identify with it and they don't struggle with that identity. At school, they're first to put up their hands to say, oh, I'm Indigenous. And you know, the school has twice a year, they'll have an elder come in and talk about the Indigenous culture and tell stories. And again, right away, they'll put up their hand and they're very proud of it. So they spend weekends with my mom. My mom just recently moved to the reserve. They opened a brand new apartment building for like seniors, like junior seniors. And my mom is 63, 64 years old. And she now lives on the reserve in this nice new building. And my daughters go over there to spend Saturday nights with her. And they enjoy it. They love going over and spending time on the reserve, and they're excited to go to a powwow. They're excited to spend time in the community.
It must make you feel like, wow, like this is, you must be feeling this, I don't know if lightness is the right word, but seeing your daughters like fully embrace and not feel that stigma, right?
Yeah, definitely. I also find that a lot of the youth in the reserve are very different than when I was a youth on the reserve. So I find that they're taking more of a cultural ownership. They're learning the language, they're learning the cultural ways, they're staying away from drugs and alcohol like many youth these days. Like I'm recently reading that drinking and drugs are on the decline in the youth. They see the benefits of staying away from it, and it's also happening on the reserve. And I think that change is finally starting to happen there too, which is wonderful.
Is there anything, you know, speaking of, we talked about the Indigenous background, how about in terms of like the Chinese background, the Asian background, how does that weave in, and how do you and Karen, is there anything intentional about it? Is there like lessons you like language lessons? Like, just curious to know how your family, navigates that.
Yeah, so we definitely don't want them to lose their Chinese cultural and background. So they attend Chinese school on Fridays. It's 2 hours a day right after school from 3:30 to 5:30, and they always hate going to it. However, I treat them with like sushi or a slice of pizza like right after school. So from 3 o'clock, we'll jump in the car and we'll have a snack, and I'll bring them sushi or Subway or a pizza, and that kind of gets them like relaxed and fed and unwind. And when they come out of Chinese school, they're so happy because they're playing with their friends. They'll play at the park after, and Chloe's really taking a shine to it. So she this year participated in a traditional Chinese poem contest.
Wow.
Where she had to recite it, and it was online, it was virtual unfortunately, but it went really well. She practiced and did really well. Her language skills her capabilities and her language skills is quite good. So
I feel like if my mom, full confession, I similarly did not enjoy Chinese school. It was like Sunday mornings, early morning. I feel like if my mom came in with pizza and sushi and these things, I would have a totally different aspect.
Just, a little bit of the carrot, right? Carrot and the stick. It's all carrot on this one.
Well, I mean, that sounds wonderful to see that carry through, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a weekly, like a Friday thing that you do as a family.
Yeah, it's good. And then, of course, we celebrate all the Chinese holidays as well, like Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. We do Lantern Festival in September, October, when they have the Mid-Autumn Festival.
That's right, yeah.
We meet with all of our friends at a park with lanterns, and they really enjoy those moments as well. And it's a good way to spend time with family. And my brother-in-law, so Karen has 3 brothers. One is based here in Vancouver. The other 2 are spread out across New York and Calgary. So it's a good way for everyone to come back together and spend time together. So yeah, it's been great. Audrey, my middle daughter, is a COVID baby, so she was at home with us for the first couple of years during COVID, so she couldn't be with my in-laws. So she missed out on the opportunity to develop her Cantonese skills and language. So she struggles with it a lot. She can understand it, but she doesn't speak it. So we found that the first half of Chinese school this year was a challenge for her, but the last half she started to pick it up a little bit. So we're hoping that through next year, grade 1, grade 2, we're hoping it picks up a little bit more. And generally, we don't let the kids watch TV during the week, but if we do let them watch, they have to watch in Cantonese. So we make their brains work for it. So we'll put on Netflix, and there's a Dinobots or something that comes in Cantonese. So we'll throw that on for them if we have to, and make their brains work for it a little bit. So
that's amazing.
Yes, yeah. It's been fun.
That is truly amazing. That reminds me of when I was a kid growing up. One of my favorite cartoons was in Cantonese. I'm like, oh, okay, now I see why I'm learning this language now.
Yes, yeah, it's good. And I'm also trying to pick up on it as well a little bit, so we'll see.
How's their German?
Nope, no German, unfortunately. I'm 3rd generation Canadian on my German side, so it's been, unfortunately, the German language is gone from our family. I have one uncle who speaks German, but he was in the Canadian Air Force, and he was based in Germany for 10 years.
Wow. And
his daughter was born there, so they speak German, but they're the only 2 out of multiple siblings and family members. So
it's interesting how it might continue on somehow, and maybe your daughters may have an interest in German, and then who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Yes, definitely. They haven't shown any interest there yet, though, so they don't even. Yeah,
we'll find the right TV show.
That's right. Yeah, something to get them pique their interest. So
one common theme that does come up in my conversations with friends about fatherhood is that finding time for yourself and that energy. I mean, Thomas, you strike me, it's the first time we met, but you strike me as someone who seems to have it figured out somehow, where like you have the successful career, you have 3 kids, you still come across, you're energetic, you don't have bags under your eyes, like it's still, I have more white hair than you do. Like
I promise you I have a lot, I just cut my hair short to hide it. Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I have it figured out. I think, we're just barely making it work, and there's definitely lots of, arguments and stressful moments, and we definitely get through it. And I think now that we're getting to the age where our youngest daughter is becoming a little bit more independent, it is getting easier for us, but I wouldn't characterize it as we have it, like, I was so tired half an hour before you arrived. I'm like, I wonder if I should mention Steve and see if he wants a coffee. Karen's like, oh, maybe just focus on the podcast first. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it is exhausting, and there are certain parts that do light up my day. And I think the one thing that helps is I've recently started to exercise more. Like every morning, Karen and I will take turns going out for a walk first thing in the morning. So I usually go out about 6, come back for about 7. And then Karen goes out about 7:15 and she comes back about 8. And I think dedicating that morning time while the kids are still sleeping to exercise and just kind of focusing and forming my day is very helpful, both physically and mentally. It helps.
So it sounds like part of your, like when things are going well, it's like having that morning routine set up, dialed in, right?
Yes, yeah. It's making sure that we dedicate that time and space. And one thing that's really good is Karen's really good at, in the evening when she logs off of work and we've had dinner together, she'll be like, okay, I'll put the kids to bed. You go for a bike ride, or get out and go for a second walk, because usually by the end of the day, by 8 o'clock, like the candle's pretty short. Like the wick is really short and patience is low, and it's been a long day by that point. So
it reminds me, because there's something that I've been like mulling in my head, and it's this concept of like this habits of fatherhood, and just thinking about the different habits that we can have in place that help us become better dads and better individuals. And it sounds like one of the habits is this movement piece.
Right. Yes. I think having dedicated alone time and moving and walking is a good habit to have as a parent, because you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your kids as well. I really feel that if I can take care of my mental health first thing in the morning while the kids are sleeping, it just sets me up for success for the day.
How about on the weekends? Do you have time for yourself as well?
Yeah, we don't stop. We don't stop on weekends. So I think I am an extrovert, like a true extrovert.
Yeah.
And I energize by being with people. And weekends, my mom takes the girls almost every Saturday, which is super helpful. So Karen and I always have a date night. Sometimes we'll just go for dinner, the two of us, and we'll go for a bike ride or a picnic, depending on the weather and time of year. Or we just go for hot pot. Like, that's our favorite thing right now, is going for hot pot at
love it.
Big Way Hot Pot. And then sometimes we connect with friends. We'll use that double date to be like, can you guys get babysitting? Do you want to have a double date? And go connect with friends. It's wonderful. And then Sunday mornings, we go to, there's a coffee shop in West Vancouver, and the name, I can't think of it right now, but it's towards Horseshoe Bay.
Okay.
And before we pick up the girls before church at 8:30 in the morning, we'll go there for coffee at 7 and just spend time together. And all these things are habits that help make us better parents for sure, I feel. And we feel very fortunate and blessed to have our in-laws and my mom who step in and help us take care of that. And I know not everybody has that, so we feel fortunate for that.
That is so inspiring, right? It's like, all right, here we have someone who has not just one, but two, but three.
Yes.
And working a demanding job, travels twice a month. But these habits, right? These daily little incremental habits, it's the crux of it. And also having that support network, right?
Yes.
As well.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, having the support network. We feel it, like when we don't get the parental help on weekends. Like last weekend, my mom was busy, so she didn't take the girls, so we had the kids all weekend. And like by Tuesday, we're like, oh man, like we missed out on a break, but we shouldn't be complaining. We understand we're very fortunate to be in that situation. So,
one thing that does come up, I mean, with three, there's this I don't know, out of this word, it's the D word, the word of discipline, right?
Yes.
And I guess the kids may be still young, but like, do you approach that differently for all three, or is it the same? We're just curious to know if that has come up yet. Maybe it's still early on, but
yeah,
just want to explore this a little bit.
Good question. I think from a discipline perspective, I'm definitely more the dragon dad than Karen.
Yeah.
Karen's very much, she disciplines, but in her own way. Like, it's a more softer approach, I think, because of the way that I was raised from my dad. I tend to be more strict on the girls. I think I'm starting to notice I can't do the same thing with Chloe now at the age of 9.
Yes.
She knows better, and it's not as effective that way. And I need to be calmer and more reasonable with all three kids, actually. Like, Karen often sends me these Instagram quotes about how creating, like, by having like a high tone or not yelling, I don't yell, but like a stern, strict voice is very stressful on the kids and their development. And I think trying to be calmer and more reasonable will create a safer environment for the kids. So I am trying to adjust the way that I parent and moving away from that strict side. And yes, I do notice a difference between the way that I parent or discipline Chloe versus the rest.
You know, it'd be funny if Karen like did an Instagram snippet of this conversation.
Yes,
and resent it.
She will hold me accountable to this. I promise you. I will let it slip in the coming weeks, and this will come out. I promise.
Well, I think it's a really interesting point, because so one of my past guests, Rudir, he takes a much more like softer, compassionate approach. But as he realizes that that's not working, and he's had to like readjust to the more sterner side, right?
Right.
And it's like, it's outside of its comfort zone. I thought it was really interesting. And it's like, we're always trying to, these are different tools under our belt, and we're trying to adapt.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. And yeah, trying to find that balance, right? We want to make sure that we're showing them love and disciplined in a way that still shows love and compassion, but also gets the message across, right? And what I'm also realizing, I guess, is like Audrey, who's 6, and Grace, who's 3, like they just don't get the concept yet. Like they're just too young. Developmentally, they're not there yet. So it's a losing battle. So Karen's like, why stress yourself out in this situation? Like, let's just be calm and reasonable through the situation. I'm like, she's right. Like, I do agree with that approach, and I will adjust.
It's really interesting. I mean, it's like adjusting to the person you're playing. Like, it's like coaching, right? Like sports coaching, workplace, the aspect. It's like adjusting to the person you're working with, and it does require. It's hard though, right? It's this additional level of cognition.
Yes, especially after a long working day and meetings or traveling and trying to come home and compose yourself in those situations can be stressful. Yeah.
Do you build in like transition buffer times like between work and home, or like does that come up? Or
no, and I think that was a problem that I identified with Karen too early on. Like, it is hard to get that transitioning time. Usually 2:30. Like, thankfully my days are quite flexible. My days will start 5:30, 6 a.m. sometimes. And then by 2 o'clock, most meetings are done for the day and you're just doing admin work. So it's easy to step away and go pick up the kids. But no, there's not a big transition time there. Actually, maybe I lie. On Mondays, when the girls have piano after school, they both get dropped off at 3:30.
Yeah.
And I have from 3:30 till 5. I get like that 90 minutes.
I
will go have a coffee and just kind of unwind there.
Yeah.
So that also helps.
That's really interesting. I mean, there's part of that where I find that when I don't have that like 5 or 10 minute little break, and I just like go straight to like home mode, like it's like I was like, what's happening?
it's really hard to adjust. And Karen too, like Karen will work sometimes 6:30, 7 p.m., log off and come out and get right into the kids and start helping right away. And I also see that's unhealthy too, right? Like, I don't want her to be stressed out and come into a stressful situation when the kids are super tired at that time. So yeah, you're right. It is important to find that buffer time, right? 20, 30 minutes between work and family life or home life. It's important.
How do you and Karen, this is great. Sorry, Karen, picking on you. You're a great example here, right? But how do you, because I'm sure there's times when the both of you have different ideas and approaches on how to approach the situation. How do you both come to a consensus or like navigate through that? I'm asking for myself, right? Because there's times when my wife and I have completely different approaches, and I'm sure it's going to be even more elevated, right, as my daughter gets older. She's like not even 4 right now, right?
Yeah, and you're right.
I'm asking this. I love this. I'm picking
it's exactly that. It is an elevated situation sometimes, and we will get into heated arguments in front of the kids, and we'll kind of try to like. It's hard, right? Depending on how stressed out we are from our day and what we're bringing into the situation. Like, it's not necessary. Like, our stress levels are already elevated from the day, then we're coming into the situation. And I think communication, just making sure that we continue to talk through it in a calm manner and try not to get heated. I have to say, Karen is very good at remaining calm in these situations. It's me sometimes that can become a little elevated. And she'll be laughing right now because she'll be like, sometimes. But like, again, I have to keep myself in check in those situations and try and remain calm and just talk through it and share our different perspectives. And we may disagree on it. And sometimes maybe we just need to walk away from it and reset on it, right? And not have those conversations in the heat of the moment, especially in front of the kids. And Karen's parents modeled that good behavior for her when she was younger. They would never argue in front of the kids. She said her parents would go to the car and they would have those conversations in the car away from the kids, and they would know when their parents were in the car something was happening. So, and for my parents, I think my parents divorced when I was 25, 24, but they're amicable. They're really good friends. They still talk and communicate today, but they were more like roommates growing up for me. So they didn't argue, but they also didn't do a lot together. So, yeah, it's interesting to try and bring in our family dynamics and how we were raised and our perception of things and how we manage it. So into the conversation. I don't know if I hope that answered the question or gave some guidance, but.
No, I mean, it's a great backing, right? It's a great, interesting, because there's things that we carry through from the way that we were raised as kids into the way we parent, and things that we try to like, I don't want to try it this way, right?
Yes.
And so it's like seeing what that line is, that through line is. Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Yeah, and you're right there. Like, I do try, my parenting style, like I do try and avoid things that I saw in my parents. The things that like,
Yeah.
My mom didn't know how to push me educational wise, and neither did my dad. My mom graduated high school later on in life in her 20s, and my dad didn't graduate high school, so he just got into the workforce, and I don't think they knew how to push me through academics. And for me, it's different. I want to help my daughters. I want to encourage them. I read with them as much as I can. We try and do homework we'll print off math sheets and try and do those with them, and I'll sit down and try and do it beside. I need to do more of it, but I do want to encourage my kids and help them academically as well. So, because I didn't get that when I was younger.
Curious, this is a question that kind of touches upon what we said earlier, way back about technology use and TV and aspects of it. It's a whole different environment nowadays, right, compared to when you and I and Karen grew up, right? The infiltration of technology in phones and schools and the aspects. Is that ever on your mind in terms of things like cyberbullying or like social media, especially with Chloe being at that about to be preteen stage?
Yes, it is. I mean, I think Karen and I are both aligned on this one. Like, we know no cell phones for our girls for a very long time. My brother-in-law, his son, my nephew, is going into high school next year, and they are worried about communication a little bit when he gets into high school, or not next year, but in a year or two. And I think they're also concerned about cyberbullying and just social media and the things you see there and those influences. And they had an interesting kind of solution that they're thinking of, giving him a smartwatch, a smartwatch with mobile phone, because there's no internet, you can only call and text on it, and it's also trackable. But yes, we have been thinking about it a lot. Thankfully, she's not interested in that at the moment. She hasn't shown any interest in smartphones and social media or any of that type of stuff, and hopefully we can stave that off for a long time. And thankfully, we're pretty close with a lot of her friends as well, who are also in the same boat. They haven't shown interest in that yet, so but we'll see when they turn 9 and go into grade 4 next year.
Yeah, right. I can imagine, as I'm just thinking in terms of like education, but also like schooling and also peers and social media. Like, I think it's very top of mind for a lot of parents.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I also hope that the school system starts to educate students on social media and cyberbullying and these topics. Like, they're very front and center these days in the media, and I really hope that the school board kind of pays attention to that and helps implement some of those teachings into school. I think it'd be very valuable. I know some private schools are already teaching it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it comes down the pipeline. If not, we'll do our best to educate them at home about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it does require like an extra push, right? I think at least in elementary schools, you can't bring phones in from start to end, but I think in high schools you're allowed to, and that gets kind of like, I don't know. It's a whole different topic, but it's something that I know Cal Newport has touched upon in his works, and other authors as well, is that I think the ideal situation is that there's no phones at all, like throughout high school.
Yeah.
Right?
We will, Karen and I have both agreed, like, we will delay that decision for as long as possible until we see a need for her to have it, or we see the maturity for her to have one. We'll do everything we can to delay that.
If I could touch upon the last segment and last topic I want to talk about is really on, looking ahead, right? As you kind of move into this next phase of chapterhood, is there a fatherhood, not chapter, fatherhood? Is there anything that's on your mind, or like anything you're excited about in terms of this next phase of being a dad?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the girls mature and develop. I'm starting to see Chloe take a lot of interest in languages. She wants to expand her Chinese to include Mandarin. So she says, I'm free on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Can I find a Mandarin program to take? Because all of her best friends are from China and they speak Mandarin. So she's excelling in it, and she doesn't want to drop Cantonese. She wants to add another language.
Wow.
So to see that interest come out in her is really cool and exciting, to see that she's wanting to push herself into new areas. And then Audrey, similarly, I think at this stage now, they're starting to see things that they like and they want to go after it or achieve it, and I like to see that. Like, that's been fun as a parent to see. My youngest daughter's going into daycare starting in July, so I'm excited to see how she grows and develops, because Audrey had a big development between 3 and 5 going into daycare, and how to interact with kids and how to share vocabulary, like all these fun things. It's just such a fun age right now to see our kids grow and develop and see what they can do on their own too. and how they push themselves.
That's incredible. Are there plans for a fourth?
No. I've medically taken care of that last month, so that's out of the question now. So, no.
Well, Thomas, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. Great to have you on Two Dads, One Car and to tap into all these different topics. Thanks for being open to jumping into the show. Thank you to Karen for nudging it on in.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me. Again, I struggle with imposter syndrome, so I really appreciate you inviting me to be here and happy to discuss everything.
Absolutely. So we'll get you dropped off here. I'll do a debrief with the audience in just a bit, but we'll close it out.
Sure. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, friends, that is a wrap. What a fun episode with Thomas. Thank you so much for joining me on Two Dads, One Car and being on this car podcast. It was such a wonderful conversation. Thomas was just so down to earth. And my takeaways, I loved how we weaved into this concept of habits of fatherhood. And something about just taking that time, even if it's a walk in the morning, even 30 minutes, an hour, can really set up the rest of the day. I know it sounds trite, I know it sounds simple, but it makes such a difference. And Thomas, he's such a busy guy. He's an executive of a public company, 3 daughters, a busy household, but it sounds like this is one of the keys to ensure that we are present as great dads, as partners to our significant other and beyond. And so thank you, Thomas, for joining me in the car. Thanks for that reminder. Thanks for doing what you're doing. I'm just so inspired by you and also appreciate you welcoming me into your house afterwards for drinks and for soda and to meet your kids as well too. And so with that, take care. For those who are listening, subscribe if you can on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and beyond. Check out 2dads1car.com, and we'll chat with you all next time. Take care. Bye.